Alright, after teaching a world building class with a few odd students, I would say the one thing that I learned as an instructor was organization of the student, sometimes they're lacking of. So what happens is, usually if you don't have any kind of organization skills, you will be having errors within your assets in your scenes. Okay, so you can put those assets in a scene and the static meshes themselves, and all of a sudden they will become disjoined from the universe and give you error messages. So this video is intended to show you things that you can do, can't do, and what you should never do while you're importing all these static meshes into the engine. Because really it's a wash and repeat after this. In this case, let's say I have a mesh. Okay, I had this one. That one's now done. So what I want to do is probably move that to a layer and then toggle it off. Oops, that one was door, so that one actually goes here. There we go. Here's one that I haven't touched yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is first center it within my scene. And I use my orthographics for this because the orthographics show the grid. In the perspective view, it does not show a grid because it's such a large grid. So just letting you know why the grid doesn't show up in perspective. So I center all these pieces usually in the corner here, and then on the inside corner as far as that's concerned. So the very center mark should be like this. Now there's another way we can do this, and that's if you hit D and V, dog Victor, it'll allow you to move that point there, and then I can hit X and it'll snap it right to it. So now that is perfectly snapped to the corner the static mesh is. Now whether the piece needs a collision model made in Maya or a collision model made in the UDK. This one, I don't think we're going to be shooting through these windows. So in that case, I can make the collision model right there in the UDK, not in Maya. Alright, so I'm going to just say export selection, and I'll export the selection as garage door. I'll immediately go over to the UDK and import it. Now, here's what happens. You have a package. Every student's going to have like one package only in the class. No more, no less. One package, and you'll just be updating that package and getting that package to me. The only time that you should ever think about making new packages is if, let's say, the theme changes. Let's say I'm not producing static meshes for the warehouse anymore, and I'm making an alien spaceship or station. The alien space station should have its own package. That way, if I gave a member of my team the warehouse package, everything that encumbered in there would be able to complete a scene based upon the warehouse. Okay. Now you can divide it up that way, or you can divide it up via wall meshes, ceiling meshes. I like complete packages myself. So that's how we're going to work it. One package per student, and we're not switching themes. In this case, I have made a package called 01 Warehouse Jason Welsh. You can never rename this ever again. Okay? If you were to rename it, these would become disjoined, and then you wouldn't find them anymore. A way to rename it, the correct way, is this. First off, you'll have to right click and make something like a new material. And let's say I wanted to make a 02 Warehouse Jason Welsh. and I hit exit. And I wanted to move all my assets from one package to the other. Well, all I do is click them, right click, and say move or rename, and it'll ask me where do I want to move them to. Well, I want to move them to 02. And you'll see that 02 might not necessarily be in here. And that's one of the other problems. So this is what I usually do for that. Cancel. Go over to 02 and right click and save it. Save that within your content folder. And that way it does show up there. So check this out. I can go back here to 01, highlight the assets, right click, and go move or rename. When I drop this down, the 02 warehouse Jason Welsh is now active, and then I can move them. That's how you rename a package. You move your assets into a fresh package. Never do this. Okay, check this out. This is like what a lot of students do. They right click on here and they say Explorer. And then they rename the file. When you do that, there is no going back. It's pretty much screwed up forever, unless you knew the exact name it was before you renamed it. So that's an absolute no-no. All right, cool. I think that just about covers it. So I'm going to actually move these back to 01 and move. Name, warehouse, good. Now they're back, and if I want to get rid of this package, I can. So I can right click on it, and notice there is no getting rid of. Okay, that's because that's on my hard drive now. So what you have to do is right click and you say unload. Okay, that'll unload it, and then you can go here and right click and delete it inside your computer. That'll get rid of it forever, keeping these in place. If I import the garage door, let's say I import that garage door in here. So import open. Make sure it's in the right package, hit OK. In this case it says no collision model. This one requires only a box for a collision model, so I can right click and say simplified 0 or 6D0P, and then I can click on this to make sure it happened. So that's how you make a collision model after the fact. There we go. Again, don't forget to right click and save. If you don't do that, I've had students build entire packages up, and then they close out of the UDK and all their stuff's gone. So that's what you have to save. You have to save your maps. Maps are maps, packages are packages, but if you want to save all of them, you say save all. That'll allow you to save it without right clicking on it. Alright, now this is just a wash and repeat. Basically what I'm going to be doing is importing all these static meshes. You're going to have to decide, is it a collision model that you're going to make inside the engine, or is it a model that you're going to make inside Maya? And I'll give you a hint. The steps are definitely something that you're going to have to make in Maya. Okay. Anything that you shoot through, you're going to have a static or a collision model in Maya, like this one and this one. I might want the windows to be shot out, and these have collision models. If these are in place, I can't, but if it has nothing, I can. And I'll be able to jump out of them. For standard stuff, like let's say this, if you want to shoot a rocket between here, you're going to have to make a collision model in Maya. The rest of this stuff though, it's very open, and you can just make the collision models right there in the UDK. Alright, so that's the end all and end all. I'll be importing the rest of these static meshes, and when you are done, please see me in the next video. So you start importing yours. See you.